Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Dennis with Synaptic Advisory Partners. The next thing that I wanted to show you was how we can link Salesforce records to a specific form in the system. But the important thing that I would stress is that when we talk about how Youreka can satisfy this need, we think about linking records in the system to forms in two different ways. So the first way is what we call a field link. And so this is when we're talking about linking questions to fields on Salesforce records. But what's important to notice is that this is different than the second feature, which I'll also show you, which is called a linked section. And that's when we're updating and managing data in related lists. So it's two different ways of editing records in Salesforce. I'm going to show you both. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint here, and I want to talk about the other example where I said linked sections. This is where we're able to update related lists. So if you can think about the most simple example would be we're updating the account inside of Salesforce, but maybe I also want to update many different contacts for that account on a single form. That's what a linked section would be for. So as we think about our initial relationship where the form record is looking up to the account, if I want to update contacts inside of this form, I need to allow for a link section to do that. And the way that that works is you must create a lookup from your contact object up to the form object. So it's a little bit different than the field link, the direction of the relationship. So as you kind of wrap your head around it and as you think about the objects that you want to be able to update from the form, you got to kind of think about the different relationship that you need, the different directions of the relationship that you need for these things to go. Fortunately enough, we also create a field on the contact record or on the contact object that looks up to the form so that you can, again, get started right out of the gate to create link sections in your forms. But if you have a custom object that you want as part of a link section where you want these related lists to be updated, you're going to want to make that relationship happen between that custom object and the form object. So let's go back over to our form here. And we'll actually add another section. Ooh, excuse me, we're not adding a regular section, we're adding a linked section. So let's drag this to the canvas here. And now we got a couple of prompts that we need to go through. So I'm going to call this one contacts for the account. And here we can actually say, what is the object that this section is going to be focused on? So we said that this is a contact. This drop down right here is informed exactly based on the relationship that I showed you in the PowerPoint presentation. It's going to show you all the objects that have a lookup to the form object in Salesforce. And so I have a contact here, and the official field that we added is called the Youreka form field. So you can reference that field name on that object that you're looking up to. Okay, so this is called contacts for the account. So at this point, we're able to actually add many different contacts, and we'll build this out here in a moment. But the other field that's important for you to understand, or the other feature that's important for you to understand, is what we call shared link sections. And this is actually what's going to pre-populate the form, if that's what you want, with the existing contacts from this particular account. So I'm going to check this to be true, and I'm actually going to pick which account I want the contacts to pre-populate from. In this case, I want it to be the account that we're updating the account name and the account website for. So we can reference the other lookup that the form object is looking to for this form, and that's going to tell us which contacts are going to be displayed here when we open up the form. So there's some ways to play around with this, and you should certainly do it in your own org to figure out what works for you. But again, in this case, we are pre-populating the form with contact records from this specific account. So without belaboring this, we're going to go ahead and build out this section right here. I'm going to make it 2 columns. And this is where we can say all the different questions for those contacts. And so as you'll notice, as I drag a question onto the canvas, we're automatically field linking over to the contact. And I'm just going to call this first name. And then we'll just pick the first name field for this object, and we'll click Save. We're also going to pick the last name, and so as we do that, basically we'll click Save, and then we'll add 2 more questions to the canvas here too. We're going to add phone number, and then we're also going to add email address. grab the business phone, and then we'll grab the email address too. And again, what we're doing here is we are going to be pre-populating this form with all the different contacts along with these 4 fields. So any other fields that we want to update from the form we could add here. But I'm just going to quickly indicate which ones I want to show, and then we're going to move on. So that's an example of how we can use a form to update records inside of Salesforce, both using field links, which represent a specific record inside of the system, as well as using a linked section, which represents a related list or many different records all at once. If you have any other questions on how to get started with the template builder or how to utilize Youreka for your specific use case, you can visit us on the App Exchange or visit our website at Youreka.io, and we'll be happy to talk to you about how Youreka might be able to work for your business.